All right. And we're back Wednesday, Citizens United. Of course, I'm your host, John Restaino. And we got a couple guests today, but we'll get to that in a minute. Robin's here. Hi, Robin.
Hello.
My co-host from Goal Getters on Friday. John is here. John, how are you today?
Doing good, John.
Good. And Wade, what's happening?
How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing all right. How was the rain treat you? I mean, we needed an arc, or we needed something.
Yeah, I seen that bridge over, what was that, College Street?
Yes.
College and Bell.
Yes, College. Yep, College.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I actually have an image of it. Yeah, that's what it was looking like.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, you had to swim out of there.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah. Did you see what was happening in front of my house?
Let's see it. I believe I might
I
have.
saw that.
You did. It was
I
nuts,
saw.
right?
Look at Shamu.
Shamu.
He showed up. There they
There's
are.
boats. There's whales.
It's up to your knees.
Yeah, up to my knees. And
So that's up. Yeah.
You know, it's so just full of feces and everybody's urine coming up from the sewer.
Yeah.
I was forced to go out there because my basketball
Was floating
hoop fell
away.
over and was like covering the whole road.
Yeah.
So I had to go and all of that fecal matter to get my basketball hoop.
As it floats away, and Shamu is there. And we heard 5.5 inches of rain Lockport got, I think, in an hour.
Yeah.
Niagara Falls was about 3.5, I believe. And
This was
oh,
a
this is
scene
incredible.
From,
it's a lake effect. I believe
this
that
was coming all off of the main streets going into
Yeah.
the canal.
because I think like that lake effect ice cream place
Yeah.
was.
Right over there.
I mean, that's unbelievable. This is stuff. This is like generational stuff. I've never seen that. You know, that was like in the falls. I mean, you got roads that I've ever in 40 years of. I mean, I'm 50, but I can remember back. I never remembered like Grand Avenue, Independence Avenue, and those places flooding. I mean, I knew they'd flood. I remember the flooding under the viaduct there on College Avenue, but geez, it's the rain that we have got though. It's like I say, it's almost like historic here. I don't ever remember. I don't know if you guys do. Sometime you'd hear 5 inches of rain in an hour. So
Yeah, what happened in 2 hours, and then just looking outside my house after 2 hours and seeing it knee high is was. I mean, just 2 days ago. The day before that is beautiful.
Yeah.
The day before that, Niagara Falls Boulevard is flooded.
flooded. You're right.
So this is. Try
Yeah.
to tell me climate change isn't real anymore.
Climate change. Yeah. Well, you're right. I don't know what's going on. I know you're right. I don't know though, man. We're having Florida-like action for us, and that was the one thing. Could you imagine? John said this earlier. Imagine if that was snow. We'd have 20 feet. I don't know what it would have been. 5.5 inches of rain in an hour. But anyways, I'm glad though. I'm hoping that everyone. So much damage, so much damage has been done into people's homes, and a lot of us wouldn't have flood insurance because you got to get that through the federal government. So we wouldn't. Why would we? We've never been flooded like this.
I can imagine today being a very terrible day for many people. That I was down in my basement trying to save my basement
Right.
because it was flooding, and I have to do a cleanup. But there was many people who I've seen and heard about where
Furnaces.
their basements, their houses, apartments on over on Lockport Road, Dyson Road,
Right.
all them apartments over there in Robinson. 3 different names.
Right.
But
Right.
all them apartments, I drove by there on my way to the studio today, and oh my God, the smell.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible, and it's still flooded over there.
Yeah.
And I could just imagine all them bottom apartments are destroyed.
Destroyed.
So how many people lost everything they own?
I know. Yeah.
It's a really sad thing.
I know, because I was and I didn't even think of it that way. I was just thinking of washers and dryers that were probably destroyed in people's basements and whatever else. But yeah, because there's places in town in Niagara. I know a street we had lived on once. They have no basements, so when they were that's going right in your living room and stuff. Terrible. Anyways, well, I'm glad that's done for now. I hope we can't take it again. We need a reprieve now. But anyways, today I am very happy to have a special guest with us. She's a YWCA rape crisis. She is the YWCA rape crisis I believe, program supervisor. It's Rachel Sandal Sacco. And Rachel, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us. You know, you have God, you do incredible work because I've witnessed it myself with Robin and everything. I just want to say thank you from all of us here at Citizens United because we run into some survivors and stuff, and you're just incredible. Thank you for all your help.
Oh, thank you. Absolutely. It's my life's work, so I couldn't imagine doing anything else
Yeah,
than
that's
helping people.
yeah. You know what? I got to ask you right off the bat.
Hmm.
You know, I was reading some stats, and it was like, and maybe you know better ones because they might be old from online. It was like 1 in 5 women have experienced a completed or an attempted rape in their lifetime. There was
Yes.
another one that was really incredible. Is 1 in 3 female rape victims experienced it for their first time being raped between the ages of 11 and 17. Um, we're at a rate in Niagara Falls, even just in Niagara County. I feel like that's at it's kind of like an epidemic. I mean, it's every time I turn around, there is another something happening. What are your thoughts? Like, how do I make people realize that just because a person doesn't say it right away doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Absolutely. So first, I'll start off just by talking about Niagara County. So we get about two sexual assault rapes a week in Niagara County, and we're a pretty small county. So and again, those are the numbers that are being reported, and we know that that's severely lacking. We know that probably if we were to put a number on it, 80% of people are not reporting. They don't feel comfortable reporting. So if we're getting 2 to 3 a week in Niagara County, that's a significant amount. There are many legitimate reasons why survivors of sexual violence may not immediately report to police or even tell close, trusted friends and family. First of all, it takes them a long time to process what has just happened, to understand it, to figure out what they're going to do next, which is one of the reasons why we are very happy that there has been advancements in the DNA field, so that it used to be 24 hours that you'd have to go to the hospital and get that forensic DNA collection. And now it's 96 hours. So it's 4 days. And I expect soon it'll be even longer than that, which really gives people proper time to be able to figure out what they want to do. Have I been exposed to something? Do I need to go to the hospital? Do I want the DNA collected? They also have the choice to be able to keep that DNA at the hospital. So they don't have to report to police right away. They can have the hospital put it, lock it up. Another thing that they're worried about is the fear of being believed or supported from people who are supposed to be in their corner, their friends, their family, the people they grew up with. I have advocated and supported probably over 800 plus survivors, and continuing in my career. And if I had a nickel for every time I showed up to a hospital with a family member, friend, sister, aunt, grandma, whoever, who said, well, we're just here to prove that this didn't happen because so and so likes getting attention. So and so,
Wow.
is lying or has lied before, and so the judgments from the friends and the family is just astronomically upsetting. So if their close friends and family aren't in their corner, then who in the system is going to be in their corner? Another thing is deep feelings of shame and guilt. We often place the burden of what happened on us, not the perpetrator where it belongs. I guess I shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't have gotten in that car. I shouldn't have talked to that person. I shouldn't have met them on a dating site. I
Right.
shouldn't have been so forward. What were they doing? Let's talk about what they were doing. Why were
Right.
they feeding you drinks? Why were they pushing your boundaries? Why were they insisting on driving? Why did they, commit this crime? And the last one, or one of the things that I really think is important that people forget, is trauma. Trauma does some weird things to our bodies. Instilled in us from caveman days, if our bodies, scan for a threat and we think that our life is in danger, the hormones actually take over and we freeze. It's called tonic immobility. And it happens about 80% of the cases that I've seen. and we have absolutely no control over it. Your body absolutely freezes, and you have no way to get out of that situation. And so a lot of times we blame ourselves because, I could have called for help. I could have done this. I could have done that. And other people judge that as well. And then the last thing I would add in is violence. People
Right.
are being threatened, choked. Somebody's in a gang, their fear of retribution. They held a gun to their head. Maybe they had a gun in the closet or in the, glove box.
Right.
There's a ton of the actual fear of the threat of violence and somebody coming after their family. Or if they were young, groomed by somebody that they trusted, babysitter, neighbor, church provider, whoever, who said, don't tell, they're going to get in trouble or I'm going to hurt your family. And that's very real for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean it's. I'm with Rachel Sandal Sackow from the YWCA. She is the coordinator of rape crisis program. I was going to ask you too. A lot of, and you'll know this. How much relationship issues and things like that happen due to the fact of going through these traumas. All of it, right? I mean, drug abuse, all the things that could come with it. Can you explain a little? Yeah.
Yeah. So are you talking about the survivors themselves?
Yeah, the survivors. Yeah.
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 Oh, absolutely. If you think about it, a lot of people don't know how to deal with it, don't know where to start. Nobody runs right straight to counseling. That's not necessarily something that everybody picks. A lot of times we're picking up habits. We're drinking instead of dealing. We're doing whatever because we just want to block it out. We don't want to think about it. And so absolutely, many of our cases involve homelessness, drug addiction. I mean, we're kind of trying to pick that person back up after this trauma and get them stable again and have that support network for them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, my little bit of experience through my wife. You guys are really something that I always point towards and say, you know what? And when people, even family members of those that might be, your loved one was assaulted, or I always thought it'd be good for them to call you guys to try, because you got to understand the mindset. I mean, it's nothing you can even. It's nothing. You see, I get all flustered with this because it's something you can't even understand because I can't understand it. So go ahead, Rachel.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, I've been doing this for, 8.5 years. And sometimes I stumble over what to say or how to say something. I'm sure there are times that I have spoken with a survivor that I have used words that they have maybe interpreted as, blaming or questions that I've asked or whatever. So imagine a family member or a friend who has had no experience with this topic whatsoever, because we all know it's not being talked about in high school and college like it should be. And then all of a sudden, they're trying to comfort this person, but they're really not sure what to say. And maybe they say things that come off sounding judgmental. And so we have family and friends that call our hotline all the time and ask, hey, so-and-so is going through this.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they're not reporting to police. Well, calling 911 right away is not everybody's answer. And it's not everybody's justice. And everybody takes their path at a different point. It might take them a while. They might never talk to police. And that's fine.
Right. Yeah, no,
so we encourage people to call us.
Yeah, definitely. You got to do it because it's the only way to learn. I mean, I remember my own case, and you just gotta like figure it out because they don't, and I say they, but survivors, I would think they just aren't thinking. It isn't the same. We don't know unless you've gone through it. And now, as far as advocates go, when you're a victim becoming a survivor, what do advocates do for you as a someone who's been hurt?
So much.
Yeah.
So much. So we really are kind of, I would say, like an experienced friend who knows what the system is like, who knows if you're interested in this, let's go in this direction. If you want this, let me connect you with this person. So it's really like a navigator, somebody who can get you where you need to go, get on that healing process, speak up for you. And again, I don't necessarily think law enforcement, nurses, I don't think that a lot of them have ill intentions, but I think that they don't have the training, the trauma-informed training to deal with survivors. And so oftentimes I am interpreting their words to the survivor and back to so it really helps to have a middle person there who can really, I've pulled law enforcement in the hallway and said, this is an issue. We need to talk about this. And again, the survivor is unaware because they've never gone through this before. This has never happened to them before. They don't know what to expect. They don't know how they're supposed to be treated or what their options are. So, and it's a lot to think about when they just went through a lot of trauma. So it helps to have somebody. They can text me at all hours of the night if they're having nightmares, if they're, having flashbacks, if whatever. We're there pretty much 24/7 from the minute something happens until, I have clients that I've talked to for a couple of years and just continue to support. We're there.
Let me ask you, are you frustrated? Because I know I feel the frustration, like with statutes of limitations, things like that, because, it drives me crazy. And then I want to talk about the Child Victims Act that is ending, unfortunately, August 15th. The statutes, because someone can do things 20 years ago. They run out the clock. Maybe they go to civil court, maybe not. But even in civil court, they can admit to stuff and it just doesn't matter, so they're free to go. How frustrating to you is it?
Extremely frustrating. Mm-hmm. Extremely frustrating. The statute of limitations for any type of sexual crime is anywhere from 2 to 7 years based on the severity. I just think it's gotta be better. I understand that if somebody, murdered somebody, or I understand, but rape is a pretty high level felony. So I just don't understand why we haven't made advancements. And honestly, it's very frustrating too, even without the statute of limitations, just being able to have enough evidence to be able to prosecute, to hold somebody accountable, jail time, sex offender registry, it just feels exhausting.
Well, I'm going to tell you, there's enough people that I can think of in my head right now in Niagara County that are what they are. They've hurt like children, and now the children are adults. These people are still walking around, and we know it, and they know it because they've been to civil court maybe. You know what I mean? There is official, they know what this person is. And it doesn't matter. It's really strange. Perception on this is, maybe it's changing, but God, people don't seem to get this unless it hits their doorstep, right?
No, and I can't tell you how many times I'm faced with high school students, college students, trying to do some education, trying to say, here's what we need to pay attention to, look out for other people. And I can't tell you how many times somebody raises their hand and says, well, my so-and-so, whoever, was convicted or went to jail, but so-and-so didn't do it. So-and-so's innocent. I'm like, There's no way. There's absolutely no way. The burden of proof is way too high. That most of these cases settle without even anything. So the fact that they spent jail time, I can pretty much bet on the fact I wasn't there, but I would assume that they probably did what they did. So, and probably worse.
Well, now, August 15th is the end of the Child Victims Act. And from what I understand, the only one that can extend it is the governor. There's, and I know there's another act that's a good one, too. The Sexual Assault Survivors Act. I think it's for adults now, over 18, so they can have that window.
Yes.
I'm really concerned about August 15th coming. What are your thoughts on the Child Victims Act? All that. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I can tell you that as soon as it came into play, we were getting phone calls. People were seeing the commercials. People were reaching out. I think a lot of people who had never disclosed in their life had, come forward and said, because of this, I've decided I'm going to say something. I think it has helped people, even those who maybe weren't able to prosecute, but were able to report it. It's on paper. It's in the police. They've made a statement. I know that it's positively impacted people who have dealt with this personally by being able, it's almost like giving them the opportunity to have that voice. And we're all very concerned. I would say that and bail reform are like the two most concerning things in our fields.
Yeah, I still can't believe. Sometimes when I think about it, it's hard to understand, and this is going to be a crazy probably thing to say, but I can almost sometimes, for certain reasons, you can understand how things happen and someone gets killed. There could be murder. There's crimes of like that, of passion, whatever happens. This one here is so hard for me to to understand, other than the fact that the victims, not the victims, the predator themselves, or like, why in the world would there ever be a statute of limitation on this? Other than the people that are writing the law were concerned for their own well-being. I don't understand, right?
I don't understand it either. And again, with the advancements with DNA, I mean, they can pretty much, refrigerate the forensic rape exam
Right.
for years. So I don't understand. I mean, the hospital will keep it for 20 years, but law enforcement can't do anything after 7. That just doesn't add up in my mind.
Right.
So there's a disconnect.
Can you, for parents or anybody that has little ones, is there anything to look for? Is there any signals that you might say, oh, geez, something might be wrong? Or does that ever, or no?
I would say go with your gut instinct and trust your children and listen to them. Again, I can't tell you how many times a child has voiced something and somebody writes it off because I know that person, I trust them, I grew up with them, they would never. Trust your child. Your child is saying something, they're trying to say something. Make sure that you use correct terminology. Okay, because here's a situation. A little girl was talking about how her uncle was taking something out of her purse or playing purse or something like that. Well, her mom had taught her purse was the word. So children are going to have trouble. They already, especially if they're not verbal, or they're toddlers, they're going to have trouble verbalizing that. So give them the correct words. I don't care if it's embarrassing. I don't care if you're worried about them standing up in a restaurant and screaming words. Right. I'd rather that they have the right words to say it if something happens. And honestly, unfortunately, the likelihood of something happening to them, I mean, the statistics are ridiculously high. So give them the right words. And then if they ever do come to you, right off the bat, take it seriously, believe it, take them to the hospital for an exam, contact your local child advocacy center, go all the way with it, because I can't tell you how many parents write it off and that person just buries it and then they carry it for the rest of their life.
Yeah. No, I was thinking,
it's your child. Why would they be making that up? Why?
Yeah, why? Right, why would they ever make that up? Why would anyone? There's another good one. Why would anyone want to be considered a victim of this? So
it's beyond me. It really is. I mean, the hospital process itself, extremely invasive, 4.5+ hours, poked, prodded, swabbed. I don't know why anybody would just do that. I don't. I can't say that I have dealt with somebody who has been straight up lying about that. I can tell you, out of the 800+ cases, I've probably had maybe 2 or 3 where mental health was an issue. Was the person straight up lying about it to try to ruin somebody's reputation or get them in trouble? No. So it's bizarre to me that this is the preconception that everybody has, that this is why people lie about this stuff.
Right. Yeah. No. I think
I haven't seen it, and I work in the field, so I don't know who these people are, but they're not in Niagara County that I know of.
Right. Yeah. I don't know where they are. I don't, because even you have with my own experience with Robin. I mean, what went on there, and then she comes out and talks about it. Why in the world, at 40 years old, would you want to do? I mean, it makes no sense, and it drives me crazy. It really does. But now, if I'm a family member, I find out something happened to my sister, my wife, my brother. That's the other thing too. We can't forget men also get abused too.
Absolutely.
And that's a whole different stigma, I'm sure, happens there, and that type of thing.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
As a family member, what's the right thing to do? What do you do when you find out, or what should you do?
It seems overwhelming because you just can't fathom it. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe this seems crazy. I would say don't freak out. So we don't need to call police. We don't need to run around screaming, crazy. Oh my God. Act calm. Tell them that you believe them. That's definitely, even if they don't say it out loud, I can tell you what their internal monologue is, and it is, oh my God, I just said that to that person. Oh my gosh, they're probably not going to believe me. They're going to judge me. They're not going to be my friend anymore. They're, like that's what they're worried about. So just say, I believe you. I support you. Thank you for telling me. And then ask them, put them in the driver's seat. Is there something that I can help you? Do you want, are you nervous to call the doctor? Do you want me to help you? Are you thinking about you wanting to talk to police? Do not pressure them. Do not drive the vehicle. Let them make the decisions. And a lot of people put what they would want to do on that person. Like,
Right.
well, if it was me, I would do this. No. Just say, I'm here for you. What do you want to do? And then if they say, I want to do this, I want to eat ice cream, I want to pretend it didn't happen, I want to look up some counselors, I want to call a hotline, like just help them with that.
Right.
I'm there for you anytime you need to talk.
Well, Rachel,
No judgments.
right, no judgments, and have it to be you got to make them feel comfortable, right? It'd be the only way.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, well, Rachel, I want to thank you for your time tonight, and I kept you a little longer than I said. Hopefully,
that's okay.
You'll come back again with us. I appreciate everything you do for all of us, for the county, for personally for me, and for others. I appreciate you being here with us.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Rachel. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
Bye-bye. We will be back here shortly. When we do come back after this commercial break to pay the bills, we are going to have a good friend of the show, and it is Kevin A. Long. You know him, Kevin from Pendleton. He ran in the 11th District. Let's talk to him about all things Niagara County and everything else. We'll be back here in a couple minutes.
Hi, are you stuck in your business? Are you facing a lot of struggles and obstacles to take your business to the next level online? Do you want to empower your business, scale it, and level it up? We are here for you. If you are just starting out, small business or big business, whatever, we will help you to level it up. Go fast and far away from your competitors to a limit that will impress them. They will see you as king of the niche. Get more traffic, more leads, more audience. Go viral equals more ideal customers and more sales. Unlock the top secrets of sales and secrets of online success. As you see, we are living in a digital transformational in all fields. New updates, creative ideas, and new advanced strategies. Do it with us right now and save your time and money. Pass all the obstacles and struggles that face you or will face. Let's rock your target. If you don't act right now, believe me, your competitors will catch our rocket to reach a higher than you and faster than your business. Time equals money. Procrastination equals more regrets.
All right, we're back. Thank you, Rachel. Rachel Sandal-Sacco was with us from the YWCA. She is a rape crisis coordinator, and I appreciate her, and we'll be getting her back on many times in the future. But right now, Kevin A. Long is with me. Kevin from Pendleton. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, how you doing, John?
I'm good.
Hello, everyone. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm feeling fine. Thank you so much for having me on
Of
again,
course.
and hello to the folks out there, and good day to you.
Yeah, you'll be on.
Thank
on
you.
every time. You're on any time you want. You just come on.
No, thank you. I mean, I understand Sean Hannity and Elliot Spitzer couldn't make it, so
Yeah,
I'm glad
right.
you had me.
Well, yeah. So we had our you did a great town hall. It was awesome. I thought it looked good. You did a great job. And then you run, and it's for the 11th district, Tony Nemi, Niagara County Legislature. I'm going to ask a simple question, but one that I want. This is a basic one. How was it? I mean, I think you ran before, but how was it this time? What was it like?
Okay,
to you?
well,
Anything
right.
different? I don't know. What did you feel or hear?
Well, the last time when I ran, so to speak, is again, as I said, the last time I ran was just like, to really get into the belly of the beast and understand, as I said, what it's like. I wasn't officially on the ballot or anything compared to this time where I went all the way out,
Okay, right.
made it to the ballot, and I'll tell you, I mean, I was joking back then and saying, hey, if I ever do this again, make sure that I get some psychiatric evaluation. But
Right.
no, it's been quite an experience. I can assure you,
Yeah.
definitely. So
Is Niagara County just so far behind? Like, I feel like the rest of the country, there is this appetite for something new. You ever notice that? There's an appetite for it. There was when Obama got elected. There was, I guess, when you throw Trump into the mix. You were with Bernie Sanders. His possibilities getting close. You see in Buffalo.
right.
There is an appetite. We don't have it here, do we? Or do
I
we,
wouldn't
maybe?
quite say. I would quite say to some extent, as we will learn shortly, that as I said to the highest elected state official a couple of weeks ago, I said, based on the low voter turnout, that's not officially a mandate or anything. As a matter of fact, folks are so turned off, and this is what I've learned. They are so turned off, not of the parties as such, but of our leadership.
Right.
They're so turned off with that, and that sort of explains why out of 3,500 registered GOP voters in District 11, right?
Yeah.
Only only
God.
500 and
13.
513 voted, of which 354 consisted of the political party hacks and the status quo of the continued corruption and political cronyism. But of course, very grateful. I want to say special thanks to the 159 who came out and not just vote for Kevin, but vote and walk and talk the talk as far as what patriotism and true citizenship is all about. I mean, I got 159 votes. Tony Nemi got 354, which give you the 513 there. But at 30.99% compared to his 69.01%, that's not bad.
Not bad at all. Robin, you have a question or anything from the message board?
Yes. Bill Nye wants to know, Kevin. He said, I find it shameful the Pendleton Republican Committee backed a conservative for highway superintendent. They had a Republican candidate. What do you think?
Well, the thing is that if the committee, now remember, this is the committee in Pendleton, the Republican committee, and if they bypassed another Republican, right, that's a question you really have to ask, right, the leadership or the committee members here
Right.
into that decision. But I myself brought that up with the chairman, and as a matter of fact, he said, well, based on that, that's why they decided to say, let the voters decide.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Bill. You know what? Why don't we do something real quick? We got the audio of Kevin just asking a question of Senator Ort. Let's listen to Senator Ort here.
Hey, Senator Ort, Yeah, we would say that you are the highest elected state official, right? For on behalf of our party.
I guess on the Republican side, I guess that might be true.
Well, yeah, well, as a fellow Republican, too, yes. So
Sure.
you are the highest, right?
Yeah.
And Niagara County does definitely fall under your constituency, of course.
Yes,
right?
it does.
And as far as I see here, too, that you're also a committee member of within your district, right? So
A committee member of the Niagara County Republican Committee, yes.
you're right. Okay, great. So here's my question to you. We didn't get a chance to fully complete your answer due to time constraints on our previous frequency, right? So I brought up to you, and I'm bringing up to you and asking you, as you are aware, the investigative post with a great Niagara County resident, Mr. Shear, had done exclusive release relating to the hirings of the Niagara County legislator. And during our last conversation, you mentioned to me that this is something that is at the county level. Mm-hmm. However, as we just acknowledged, you are the highest, elected official, right? In our county and even in the state too. So my question to you, sir, is that since this is, within your district, right, and within our own party, right, my question to you is that these questionable hirings, right, is very bad, because when we look the recent in the recent election, we had less than 500 of the 3,500 registered voters in our area voting.
Right.
And so yeah, and my question to you is that in your capacity as the highest elected state official of our party, how could you have endorsed the incumbent who signed off on these hires?
That's your question? We finally got there?
Yeah, we finally got there.
Okay, all right. Well, look, I've endorsed multiple candidates this last cycle that I have worked with over many years, at least in my time in the Senate, and that I thought have done a good job on the whole. You can certainly take issue, as some people have, with hiring. But again, I would ask you to take that up with, and you ran for office, as I think most people know.
Yeah, full disclosure, correct.
You were a candidate on the ballot on Tuesday, unsuccessful, but I applaud your willingness to run. I know you've run before, and you're certainly someone who is engaged, and I think that's always a healthy thing for the party, and I mean that sincerely. As far as the turnout, I'm not sure what the linkage is there, because, look, at the turnout, if you want to blame anybody for low turnout, you can blame statewide Democrats who moved the primary from September to June. And I say that because most people, the reality is in June, they are not thinking about elections or politics. Mm-hmm. They're thinking about their kids getting out of school. They're thinking about baseball, where they're going to go on vacation, all that kind of stuff. And you even saw in the city of Buffalo, we have a potential socialist mayor who won with 11,000 votes. She's going to be the mayor of a city of several 100,000. I'm not sure what Buffalo's population is today, but I know it's more than 11,000. The mayor of New York City, likely, Eric Adams, in a city of 8 million people, he's the mayor with 100,000 votes. I mean, so I think that the turnout numbers, when you hear a lot of Democrats will talk about, we want to get all these voting measures that they've changed, election changes, they'll say it's to get more people voting. But if you look at it doesn't work that way, because I think most people in America, whether this is good or bad, they start having, some people start thinking about elections like on Halloween. I mean,
can I beg to differ on your point here? Because the fact is that, look, since it was less than 500 people of 3,500 registered Republicans who came out to the polls. Mm-hmm. Here's it. I'm on the pulse, as you just acknowledged, and on the ground here with our constituents, right?
Yes.
And the fact that close to 87% of the other registered Republicans who didn't come out, it just confirms that the 300 and something who voted for the incumbent, that doesn't necessarily reflect their feelings, right, about it. And we can't blame the Democrats. We have to blame the leadership of our party, and I'll tell you why. Because when they look at the situation, as far as they're concerned, it wasn't a change or just an exchange. When we look, I thought that the other three candidates, the newcomers who ran, had definitely, at least one of the three, would have, it was a bit of a home run, they would have secured the nomination. But no, they ran against someone who missed 40%. 40%. of the legislative sessions which he was elected to attend. Okay? And yet, with that fact, and facts that I brought out myself as a candidate, people still didn't come out. And you know why? No, don't look at the Democrats for that, sir, and so on.
Okay, we're back. So there was a good. You got the question, the senator. What'd you think after it was all said and done?
Well, it just speaks volumes that everything I said stands true.
Yeah.
Because you're like minimizing, everything.
Right.
That that the incumbent in question here that you support, you're minimizing. You're going around and saying Cuomo is so corrupt. Right? You're blaming the Democrats for the low turnout? No. Don't blame the Democrats for that. They have nothing to do with it. Right. The average Republican out here has lost faith in our party. Right? Because you cannot say you're the party of law and order and you support the blue, and yet, right, you have the incumbent who signed off on hiring
and criminals.
So come on. Right. I mean, you're trying to find the boogeyman? No.
Wade.
A true leader actually looks at the problems and tries to solve the problems rather than placing blame on somebody else, the opposite party, whether it be Democrat or Republican. Robert Orr should have recognized the low voter turnout and try to figure out a way, especially when you have somebody that you could work with who's reaching out to you about it, to make sure that doesn't happen in the next election. That's leadership, not placing the blame on other people like these leaders, these pretend leaders.
You stated this earlier, and I think you put it on the screen. How does he blame? It was a Republican primary. The hell are the Democrats going to do about it?
Right.
Why would they even care? You know what I mean? Like, it would have been very easy for Republicans to go vote in the 11th district. Mm-hmm. It was then. I don't think Democrats were holding them back. I'm going to assume that is there even going to be any? No. Right? I don't even know. Is there going to be a candidate? There's going to be no. Will there be anyone to go up against Nemi as a Democrat?
Well, you can never tell what can happen between now and it is always something called the October surprise, as I said to the good senator when I was signing off. Because the good news is that we still have within our constituency, besides the Republicans who didn't make it for one reason or the other, I know definitely that they don't like the corruption that's going on. Right. And the good news, so these are the non-pseudo Republicans. And look, we still have independents. We still have Democrats, and not the extremist Democrats, that who will just vote party line, right? And, of course, other patriots, Green Party, Liberal, and Libertarian, there's still that factor who didn't get their voices heard.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So 354, of which the majority we know is the political party hacks and the status quo, who support the continued corruption and cronyism that Nemi and company said, hey, make sure you come out and vote, right? They don't represent and they don't speak for the rest of us.
No. Well, and you got to remember what we're talking about is, when we're talking about hiring, we're talking about Glenn Aronow. We're talking about the Buffalo Billions
You're talking about a Buffalo Billions felon. You're speaking about a six-year-old harasser.
Yes.
You're speaking about a person
the guy from NT, right? Who was the county clerk, and he failed miserably there, and DiNapoli pretty much said it.
That's right.
And then they picked him up and put him
exactly
in the same spot.
Come on.
I got to get that job sometime where I could fail miserably and then get a higher. Basically, if you go from you go from a city level, you hop up to the county level. That's like a promotion, I guess.
Right.
But yeah.
So for the fourth time in 14 months, as the investigative post of January 17, 2020 said, for the fourth time in 14 months, Niagara County had hired a politically connected Republican who has been previously accused of misconduct, and it just goes on and on and on. And this has happened even before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, misconduct here in Niagara County is really almost, it's kind of weird. It's definitely not, it's not frowned upon. It's also, and I hate to say it, because it gets rewarded, politically at least.
Right.
We reward it, not just in Niagara County legislature, we see it in our cities.
Right.
They're just rewarding it over and over and over again. So, what are you going to do? Do you think? I guess back to my question, because he couldn't answer it. He wouldn't have answered that, Ort.
Yes.
Because I heard his answer, and this is we started and we went on the thing. Is there an appetite here? Do you think Niagara County has that feel? Like, you see it. You can feel. I don't care what they say about Buffalo. There is an appetite.
Oh, there.
Because that's why those people come out and elect her.
Right.
There's an appetite. Is there one? I can't see one here, because everywhere I turn, it's always the same. Right. Same guy, same woman, same thing. Do you think there is one though that we're not kidding? What I'm trying to say is we got to touch it. We got to get to it.
Well,
have you gotten to it? Let's just say out in Pendleton.
I have. From the pulse of it, yeah. And there is the appetite there for change.
Right.
And the fact is that as I said, 354 who voted to continue the political cronyism.
Right.
Okay, doesn't reflect the rest of the community. So, so the appetite is there,
right?
But a lot of things have to come together to get this done,
right?
And and I'm just one guy.
Well, because I know, like Niagara Falls, the appetite's there. I know it's there. I hear it. I can hear it now. But unfortunately, I'm hearing it from some people that may have never casted a vote before. So you got to kind of turn that the right way. That's a tough one. Now, I will say this. You know what else I'm tired of is people bitching about this voter or the citizen, whatever. They're too stupid. They're dumb. They're too stupid. They need to take. I heard one guy. I'm not even going to mention his name because I don't even feel like it, because it's a waste of a name mention. Yeah. Said that they're too stupid and we need to have a test. We should test voters before they're allowed to get in there.
Right.
Now you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So I mean, what the fuck? What? You know what I'm saying, Wade? Like, there's an appetite. But you got to remember, people have been beaten down. I think of Niagara Falls. Why the hell do you think people don't care? Because you've been fucked every 2 minutes.
That's right.
Every which way but you can turn.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, why can you? I guess maybe you can, Wade. Maybe anyone can. Can you understand why you wouldn't vote?
You just had on someone who was speaking about sexual abuse, right? And sexual abuse, just like physical abuse. I mean, it tells you something. I just saw an analogy today where a mouse was put in a jar full of feed. And the mouse kept eating because, hey, I didn't have to go fend for myself.
Right.
It's right here. But then you end up at the bottom of the jar and realize I'm trapped.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm saying is that, I have to say this, folks, don't be a victim anymore of this abuse taking place.
Yeah.
And being done to you, right?
Yeah.
By the status quo. And by that small percentage out here. You don't have to do this.
Yeah, because not until, just like we talked with Rachel, I mean, I don't like, you know what, forgive me, I'm not even going to do this. Let's just put it this way. You got to survive.
Right.
We call them survivors instead of victims, and once you become a survivor, then you're taking back your own thing. You almost got to do it with the voting. You almost have to do it within this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I understand why not, like, I can only, right now I want to talk about, I'm just going to say the Falls. I understand why people there say, you know what, I'm not going to bother going. What is the point of me going to that voting booth? And I understand it.
And that works to their advantage.
It's sadly,
I know that works to the establishment's advantage. When I say the establishment, Democrat, Republican, or whatever, right? Those incumbents, that works to their advantage when you continue with that defeatism attitude.
It's
and
tough.
Saying it wouldn't make a difference, right?
I know.
Guess what?
Yeah, but
will make a difference,
right?
It's just. It will make a difference. Get involved. And as I always say before, sorry to sound like a broken record, but just go in there and cast in your ballot every midterm or every, presidential election. That's not enough. A campaign is more than just talking points and someone going out there and making speeches and running ads. No, right? You got to get involved. And
it's very rare that you see someone run against the establishment.
Yes.
Mr. Alion did. I did a couple of years ago.
You wanted to, and they wouldn't even let you.
Oh, yeah.
So you had to have.
I wanted to run against Senator Ort there, and had many
no one wanted to
approval.
Do it.
Many people approve him on the Democratic side to run against him. However, that's not in the playing cards. That's Mr. Zona, basically stating to me, with his ridiculous conversations that he's had with me, and he's basically stated he would rather have that Republican than a progressive come in to the party, or come in and have that position. So of course he's not going to run me. He needs the puppets that they can
Well, he's got
control.
yeah, and and Henry is going to stop. He doesn't want that.
No,
so he's got to do what they tell him to do.
So they'd rather run nobody.
Yes,
Right.
That's actually better.
Exactly.
They love that. That's like a walk off. That's an easy one, right? I mean, they don't even have to haggle with anyone and say, "Hey, you don't run this time, I'll get you next time." They didn't even care.
No.
It's perfect. That's like that's a good day at the office. You get to leave. We got more corruption. We were talking about the mayor of Lockport. Remember we got something here?
Yes, that's right. Citizens Advisory Committee.
Yeah.
My gosh, where's your due diligence, right? And you have someone. No, he was convicted. This guy was convicted in Indiana. I think I saw it in that.
Right here.
No, prior to being convicted right here by having the pornographic images on the game console, right?
What I see is that he doesn't like to re-register where he is.
Right.
He never. That's what I think hits because it happened right here in right in Lockport.
Where
the kiddie porn and he gets,
with the kiddie porn that he had on the
we've had our go around
on the console, right, on the game console, and then but prior to the conviction on that, right, he was in Indiana, right, and he didn't register. Right? He was supposed to register when he moved here to Western New York, when he moved to Lockport, right? Now, this is what we have to ask Lockport, right? City of Lockport, right? How did this, can't use the word gentleman, and it'll be unfair to creatures to say creature, right? So how does this low-life entity end up on a citizens advisory committee, where an advisory committee, you are advising citizens with who? Children.
Right.
Right?
I don't know what
he was taken off, I understand, right?
I understand.
But after the fact, but nobody's answering those questions and giving transparency and full accountability of this situation. But what it boiled down to also, as you know, the district, the legislative district 11 that I ran for, right? It seems as though like Lockport, all you're concerned with out there, well, not you, but the folks who supporting the political cronyism, right? Is that once my guy or girl, I elect them and they get into office, whether it's a D or an R, I'm happy as pappy, and that's it. Then we have the folks out here in Pendleton where I am. Hey, once the snow is plowed, and hey. I get photo ops with folks for where I can put the Burton facilities to run my boats in the summer. Hey, that's it, right? So, and then of course the town of Lockport. Well, I don't know. They can't pinpoint it. They seem to be out to lunch. Can't pinpoint one thing or the other. Hey, my garbage is being picked up, maybe, right? But then these things are done, and yet you hire, you see the same officials. That's their job. They're doing their job. So don't tell me what they did. Tell me what they shouldn't be doing. But yet you're willing to let all these other things overshadow these things. Hiring sexual harassers, hiring convicted felon thieves. Come on, people.
I'm very curious on, me and John made a big stink about this last week. And after we found out the next day, we started speaking about it. And that same day, nighttime, we get a response from someone saying, oh, he's off the board now.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. But we still need questions on why he was put there in the first place.
Right.
Did the mayor not know about this? Did she know about it yet not care? And then after people found out, she removed him. What happened there? We need answers rather than, oh, he's just not here now.
Don't forget, guys, there's also a third villain in all of this. Local media. Don't forget.
Yeah, they're not.
We had a radio station out in Lockport for 3 weeks prior. 3 weeks prior to the election, had the George Mazia show, which I said, it reminded me so much of the makeover they were trying to do with Elliot Spitzer, right? But anyway, don't digress. But they had a George Mazia show. The only three surviving podcasts or broadcasts were on their website all the time. Right after the election, guess what? It's gone.
It's gone.
Disappeared. And I made an inquiry and I said, hey, can I get some audio if I have to pay for it or whatever for previous shows or podcasts or whatever? They say, yeah, you can just go on the website. I said, well, the show you're talking about is no longer there. Which show is that? The George Mazias show. Oh, well, not every show is recorded. Really? Then what was it doing there if it wasn't recorded? Oh, well, it may have slipped through the cracks.
Does this thing still happen? This Maziar show? Do they still? Does it?
No.
Gone?
That's it.
Oh, he did 3 and he
did district, and I kind of running in the legislative 15 district, right?
Right.
Now, in the 15 district, we have an interesting situation where the incumbent missed 40%. 40%. Something he was elected to attend, right? Sessions. He missed 40% of it. And this guy still won. Right? But in all fairness, I did tell the newcomer who was running against him, right? A decent chap, his name is Mr. Derek Caldwell, and I said, Derek, you don't need George Mazias, you don't need Robert Ort. If you just came out fresh and you just ran, you would have done this. So it just goes to show that people want change, but if they see same old, how can you say you're an agent of change, but yet the guy who has you on like almost 2-3 times, who is Mazias, right? Who is part of the mess that we're in, who started all this, but continued.
Yeah.
Right? He took the baton and continued with it, right? Then people say, this is not a change. As I say, Senator Ort, people just see an exchange and not real change.
Yeah.
Right? No. But I was thought at least one of these gentlemen would have won. But no. So guess what? So should we resign ourselves, District 11, and tell ourselves that we are A-OK with sexual harassers, with convicted felons, with thieves, with corrupt officials, taking care of business for us and running our government? Please, I hope and I pray that I'm wrong.
Right? No, I know. I've lost so much. I haven't lost. The thing is, I don't lose faith in the people. I don't. I guess I'm starting to just understand them a little more and why. Because for myself, for yourself, Wade, everyone in the room, well, most of us in it, Robin, John's back there, we kind of been in it. The politics side of it. Yeah. We understand. So I'm trying to think of somebody who isn't. And there's a lot. And why would they be? They don't have to be.
Right.
I mean, the politics part.
Right.
So all they continually see is, let's say in Niagara Falls, we're going to make a $46,000 a year job for a public information officer. We don't need it. We're going to do it. And we're going to give it to you, and we're going to give it to somebody. And then when they call because someone got hurt or they got or there's a murder in their family, and the police takes 45 minutes to get there. The mayor won't even mention it. He doesn't even care. Part of me understands why people say screw it, because it's just, it sucks. You sit there and you keep on watching the same thing happen over and over again. Even the ones that vote are starting to feel that way, right? Because I don't know, Kevin. I cannot stand listening to people put down the voter, I guess.
Right.
Because the voter hasn't been given any reason. Really. I mean, maybe it sounds like you might be giving some reasons to the 11th District people to say, wait a minute, we got a new voice here, something we haven't heard before.
Well, look, they're fighting in Buffalo. Buffalo, you're fighting, okay, you say you're fighting socialism.
Yeah.
But listen, Batista, do your history. They don't teach that much in school, right? You know why socialism, Marxism, or whatever evolved in Cuba? Because of political cronyism that Batista was practicing in Cuba. You want an idea of it? Watch The Godfather 2, and that'll give you a little intrigue into that. But what I'm saying to you, is that Buffalo, you have on your hands, you want to fight socialism, but you ain't not address the political cronyism, by the way. But also, we're fighting political cronyism right here in Niagara County.
Well,
and this is what we face.
Well, like in Buffalo, for example, I don't give a damn as long as as long as what they believe in isn't violent or hurtful.
Right, yeah.
Elect the socialist. Because you know why? you got to get, first of all, you got to get rid of the guy who's in there. Byron Brown's got to go. You can't continue him because he's part of the problem. You know, as we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you elect her in there, she becomes mayor. First of all, you didn't elect anyone to be a king or a you know what I'm trying to say.
Right, yeah.
So there's going to, if there's something she's going to do that's going to be overstepping the line of the people of Buffalo, it'll be, there's people there, there's a common council, there's whatever. I would rather vote for a libertarian, a Green Party, whatever they want to call them, socialist, whatever, than continue to keep Robert Ortt to continue to be my state senator. You know what I mean? Because just go the other way. Don't worry about these ideological things.
I agree.
You know,
don't worry about that. But let's bring it back here.
Everybody's screaming about socialism and how and socialists, blah blah blah. Well, you heard what Robert Ortt even said to you, Mr. Elyon. Well, that's coming from a guy who receives the best social Medicare, Medicaid, whatever the best social medicine possible because of his job. So these rich guys who are taking advantage of the system, who they don't even have anybody running against them, have socialism for them, but not socialism for the people. They don't have to worry about their medical bill. They have the best medical coverage of all. So who is these rich assholes are the ones who are screaming to you, don't have socialism, you're going to ruin everything? Why? Because we want health care?
I understand.
And I add to your point there, Wade, as I said to you during my town hall, has the economic burden during this COVID crisis, has it been equitably shared by members of our society? And it has not been equitably shared. Because you know why? I didn't see Ort taking a cut in his pay. I didn't see Nemi taking a cut in his pay.
Right.
I don't see none of these sons of bitches. So, I'm sorry, I didn't say that about their mothers, but anyway. But I didn't see none of these, right?
Right.
You know, none of these, low lives doing that.
Kevin, we
right?
need to have a revolving door.
And taking it, and show me where you sacrificed for it.
Here's what I do. Here's how I could do it in the 11th district. If I'm voting, I'm voting for Kevin because I want Nemi to go. If I don't like Kevin, it's just going to be a revolving door. Right. I would continue to vote people out over and over and over until I find the right person. Right. I don't care who the hell it is. I don't care. Yeah. I don't even care what they call themselves anymore.
And before I forget,
I'm so sick.
I brought up the point about the Fourth Estate. Yeah. The media, man. Media. I'm beginning to see now that unless you take, and I'll get it, but unless you take on ads with them,
yes,
or and so on, they'll give you the time to pay to play. They'll give you the time of day. But besides the Mazia situation where we see, right, they're covering, and they're not, they pull some of his shows too, right? We also have an example where you guys, you're doing their work. You had your due diligence. It was only when you all brought it to their attention in Lockport, hey, you have someone on the Citizens Advisory Committee, a sexual
he's on the
offender,
list. Yeah, he's on the registry, yeah.
A convicted sexual offender on there. Why didn't the Lockport Union Journal pick that up? Why didn't the Niagara Gazette pick that up?
Right.
Hell, the Buffalo News. Yeah. So it just goes to show, somebody who's not being held liable for a lot of stuff is the Fourth Estate, our media. Don't look at CNN and you have to look outside. Here. Look right here.
Right here.
Look right here, folks. We have the swamp.
Yeah.
I hate to say that in my mayor debate a couple years ago that I had to actually tell how our city website, if you went to go look at the budgets, it wouldn't appear. The links didn't work, and actually the headline of that page was written in Pig Latin. Nobody ever actually redid that one page to make it correct. And when I was stating this in the debate, it looked like I should have been wearing a tinfoil hat.
Sure.
But you know what? Actually, the week after, Union Sun and Journal made a report about it, saying everything I stated was true.
Right.
And that was a week after I stated it already.
Right.
So it didn't get fixed until the Union Sun actually made that article.
Right.
And for them to even look into it in the first place, it took a week for that website to even start to be fixed.
Well, don't worry, folks. As I said, October, there's something always called the October surprise. There's still time between now and November.
Okay.
There is, never know. There's much more that could come out.
Right.
It's only a matter of effectively getting that message across
Sadly,
to folks out there.
Right, and sadly, the Buffalo News is getting rid of a lot of their reporters and stuff, and I'm going to assume Niagara County will be part of it. Tom Prohaska will be gone, or whatever his name is, and not that he's good anyways, but at least there's going to be no Niagara County News, I bet you, in the Buffalo News coming up because they're they're getting rid of people, and from what I understand, I think he's one of them. So there might not be anything happening anymore. The Niagara Gazette, like you said, in the Lockport paper, you always knew, it's pay for play, right? You always kind of knew that, but it was not. But this is just, and the Niagara Falls Reporter is dead. So we've got a void to fill that all of us almost have to fill. Not just like here, but like even people. Did you notice that? You get better journalism or whatever you want to call it from someone just on Facebook Live. Just walking around with their camera in their own face, showing you things that you'll never see. The one thing I'll tell you, and I won't get into it too much, but we did I keep saying we. No. Me and Wade and others were invited to go to a victims rally. The victims rally marched to the mayor's door, and going to that door just to say, Mayor, see us, come out and say something to us. And we had an incredible police presence. It was a circus, dogs, riot gear, all that. It didn't make one newspaper, one article, nothing. How many times in America do you see people march to the mayor's door and yelling and screaming, "We are victims. Look at us. Say something to us." And think about that. They never mentioned it, right? Right, guys? There was nothing. Not one word of it anywhere. The only people that filmed it was us. Because I was walking in it, so I was doing Facebook Live and showing it.
Makes you wonder if it has ever happened before, because the media doesn't report on it. So how the hell would we know? Many people didn't know about what we were.
What they did, yeah.
So,
and those were victims of murder. Right. That were little ones. The child, the 10-year-old. This wasn't like some wild, crazy thing that we're going to go be breaking. They were going to break windows. I have to show it to you someday if you didn't see it. So you could. Did you see that one?
Yeah, but by the way, and to your point there too. And as they're known as the Fourth Estate, right?
Yeah.
The media. You remember there was a vocation once or profession called blacksmiths.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
How many people now will say, "Hey, when I learn a trade and I graduate or whatever, I go to school, I'm going to be a blacksmith."
Right.
But so. This is a harsh reality coming to print and to electronic media. That they're going to become like blacksmiths.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the world is going so digital now and it's changing. And here it is, and again, I give you guys kudos, with the revelations you've done and the most recent one you've done in relation to the convicted sex offender getting on the Citizen Advisory Committee, right? You guys did that, and I have to give you all kudos and recognition for it. Okay? If nobody, I don't want you to say you're blowing your own whistle, right, and ringing your own bell. So I'm going to say it for you. Okay? So media, pay attention. Okay? You're being you might become blacksmiths very soon. You continue like that.
Right. And something happened tonight, and I don't know what happened at the city council meeting, but here in Niagara Falls, there was a city council meeting, and this is something everyone's got to pay attention to. The address is 220 Memorial Parkway. Memorial Parkway has been a mess through all of this. 424 Memorial Parkway, we reported on that, as did others, but we got a little more in depth because we had some background knowledge from some people. There's more going to be coming on Memorial Parkway because we have a story that's going to be a breaking story on someone who actually went to the auction, got 2 houses, and they took it out from under them and didn't give them the houses.
Wow! So
that's coming because we just got to clean that up. I got some video. I can't wait for that. But here we go. 220 Memorial Parkway. It's a warehouse. If you look at it on you Google it, but it's 2 acres of land. In 2011, they were assessed at $365,000. They've been paying their taxes on that. Well, they're mad. And tonight at the council meeting, it appears they are going to the reassessment down to $100,000, and they're going to get retroactively paid for all the overtax payments they've made since 2011. So that's the 11th Street Properties LLC, but I think, and that's just NFR, just with a different name. So think about that, guys. The city of Niagara Falls, the whole deal, is going to where we need revenue, but we're going to give it back. We're just going to give it back to them and say, hey, no problem. Yeah, we were wrong. It isn't $365,000. We don't know about the turtle. Here's something funny about the turtle downtown. Trying to figure out how much taxes they pay. Because we've heard NFR doesn't pay a dime on there. Then some people say they do. Reaching out to some councilmen, nothing.
Forget about that.
No, yeah. Tell me to do a FOIL request. I'm not doing. Go find out. You can just walk across. I imagine the corporation council or something and give us the numbers. Right? What was the what have they done, NFR? And this is. I mean, tonight if they did that, and I got to pay a garbage tax, a garbage fee, but they're giving back all of that money retroactive to 2011. And guys, I just think it just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop, and the council's going to say okay to that. And hey, John, did you see anything tonight on the council meeting?
Nothing yet.
Nothing you could tell. Nothing yet. Okay. Yeah, because it's messed up. Wade, I mean, we cover it. This NFR stuff. I mean, look at that. That happened tonight. They just gave it back. I mean, I know you probably where you live, and we won't tell everybody where you live or what the deal is, but I know taxes are high. So you can go there. Could you imagine you going in there and say, look, this is messed up. I believe this is my assessment. Screw it. Here it is. Now, can I have back? From what I've overpaid.
Well, from the photos I saw, he lives in Orlando.
And here
I saw a
he
picture
could
of Shamu behind him.
You're right. And in Orlando, he could run for mayor in Lockport. And and here we don't care, right?
Right.
So we don't mind. The guy went into the fourth district.
I hope. Let's play you wrong. Let's play you wrong, man. Let's pray that you're wrong and I'm wrong, and we have faith in the people. In a government of, for, and by the people.
Let's hope.
Let's just hope.
We get proven wrong all the time, but I know you keep going. Obviously, no one's going to quit. It's just that it's
But when that
frustrating.
when they actually hope appears, is that the time that you're seeing ballots fall off the truck?
Possibly,
That's
right.
That's what I'm questioning. When that hope arises, that there is going to be change and people vote for it. Well, look who the established are.
Look what the Buffalo News is doing to this to India Walton. What they are doing right now is unbelievable. They are working for Byron Brown. Straight out. Some of the stuff they put, you got to read it. It's not even, the reporting's horrible. It's just, read some of this stuff if you ever get a chance on India Walton and telling me how she, all of it. Of course, what you could only imagine the smear would be, and, she lived in it, her kids sold drugs. This one did that. This one, that's what we're doing now. And so they're working for Byron Brown, the Buffalo News.
They refuse to speak about the stories where Ort is taking
right, but that one
Okay.
they won't talk about.
But guys, I have to ask this though: why, with everything that is saying about India Walton, right? Why doesn't someone come out to at least set the record straight? This is what I'm asking, and this is what the voters are going to be asking too in Buffalo.
I think they do it I think they do it on their Facebook Live.
And I mean, listen, the Buffalo News, like for example, they've made some accusations, for a better choice of words, right, about a particular talk show host, right?
Okay, right.
And they had to settle big time.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know, again, from some of the stuff that I've read on the Buffalo News and some other lines, and some other media, right? You're kind of wondering, okay, but she's not commenting, and that's where I have some concerns here.
Well, we'll have to hear.
So you know what I'm saying? So if they're lying about me, come out and warn them and say, hey, look, I got lawyers,
right?
But she's not doing that. But I've been hearing stuff about
have the voice here to do it, or you guys,
well, here's what, guys, I'm saying. I'm hearing stuff like the current boyfriend, and stuff like that, and stuff like exposing himself in a convenience store, rubbing his genitals against someone and stuff. That's serious stuff, man. You just had something about. I'm saying. So you're going to be the mayor of like the third largest city
Do you prefer Byron
Well,
Brown?
you're
Don't you
hold on. You're going to be the judge of Niagara Falls.
Oh, yeah,
with
right,
that
right.
husband who rapes
Right,
a
exactly.
girl.
Well, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So that's the
absolutely.
situation.
Yeah.
So it is the same way. I'm not giving a pass to anybody of the crap we know going on here in Niagara Falls, right?
Right.
But the fact is, do you see why people not turning out and voting? Because look,
Yeah.
it's an exchange.
Robin, do you have a?
You see what I'm saying?
What do you got?
I have another question from Bill Nye.
All right, Bill.
Bill wants to know who bought the bar Rust and for how much.
That was Caffarella, and I think it was $1. Not just Russ, Donatello's in another building.
Was he a former legislator, Caparello?
Yes. Yep.
I would have bought it for
But
$2.
now he's everything. I told you. Now he's on the board. He's on that redistricting board.
People, are you listening to
He's
this?
on the redistricting board.
Are
He's-
you listening to this? Go ahead.
He's
Go
also
ahead.
the Lockport part of the Corporation Council, last we know. He's also on the board, was CEO of Niagara County Community College, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm forgetting other accolades. But, I mean, I know I am. But he got it. And I believe along with the ex-Niagara County Democratic Chairman, Zona. So they got that. From what I understand, unless someone can prove it, fine. If you prove it, fine. I don't care. For
And then
$1.
right. And then Ort has the audacity to say to me that hey, putting it down to, someone, like I'm paraphrasing, Monday morning, quarterback in here and not taking blame for not getting his message through. Hello, here's the message right here. All we are seeing is that folks going into public office, right, and using it, right, for their benefits, for their friends and family plan, and moving on, right? And no wonder people stay away from the polls.
Yes.
Right?
That's what I was
saying, right? Nick Langworthy, as I said in my stronghold, I penned a letter to his communication specialist, but of course to him, right? And say, hey, as the chairman of the party, what's going on in Niagara County? As a talk show host on the WBN site, he described us as the Wild West out here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We are.
We are the Wild West out here. So guess what? You're not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. You wouldn't touch it, and you would just let it be. Because guess what? The talk I hear about Langworthy now is that he's now working for a media outfit, right? And his objective is to become the next Karl Rove.
Jeez.
Without the whiteboard or with the whiteboard, right? And people, can't you see you're being played by the leadership of our parties? Well, the duopoly, I should say, right? That we can speak of.
Yeah, right.
The duopoly, the two parties, the leadership. We've been played by them. So the more we get away from, hey, my guy who carries an R, my girl who carries a D wins, right? Heck no. Make sure you have transparency. Make sure you have accountability. And come on, before it's too late.
Well, you know what? Right there. That's a perfect way to segue out of here. Kevin,
yeah.
I appreciate you coming.
Hey,
no,
thanks.
I'm glad.
Well, thanks. And
you'll be back.
Thanks, Sean Hannity, for canceling. Okay.
We'll be
and Spitzer. Okay, thanks.
You'll be back. You'll be back. Of course. You're right.
I'll be back. In what capacity you mean I'll be back?
Oh, in any capacity you like.
Yeah, you trying to hint something here?
You want to do a show? We got the mic open for you at any time. That's the capacity.
Listen to me. If I had genuine friends like you guys, you put me through a 12-step program. Keep me away from mics. Keep me away from telephones. Keep me away from telephones and keep me away from mics and radios, and internet. But anyway, but thank you.
They actually give you the mic.
More microphones, yeah.
This is how we're going to explain everything.
Well, let my folks talk to your folks. Let my people talk to your people. But no, really, guys, thank you. But thank you for what you've been doing, okay? And regardless, and I'm saying this with Wade, as I said to one of these clowns online the other day, I say, as much as Wade and I may differ ideologically, politically, and even to some extent you too, John, right? At least we have respect as real men with each other, because you know what? You are fathers, right? You are fathers, and you have children, okay? So regardless whether it's a D or R or socialist or whatever, okay? The fact is that, we want to make sure that we have a better tomorrow, right? and make sure a better tomorrow for our children, and not let the status quo and the small percentage of folks, just control or, continue abusing us, I should say. But anyway, thank you all again. I appreciate it. God bless.
Oh, thank you. I guess I should read my numbers now like I do, Wade, because I kept you long. Thanks for sticking around.
No, thank
I always end up doing that. I would tell people, 20, 30 minutes, and then next thing we know, we're 45 minutes later into the hole. But that's the way it is. So anyways, I have to obviously thank Rachel for being here from the YWCA. She's the Rape Crisis Coordinator. Rachel Sandal-Sacco. Unbelievable. Please, if you have that, well, we're going to bring up our numbers now, and I can get into it. 716 433-6714. That's the YWCA here in Niagara County. Now, if you're outside of Niagara County, anywhere in the country, there is a YWCA waiting for you. Almost every county, right, Robin? I mean, every county has one. So if you're currently being abused, if you were sexually abused, if you're the loved one of someone who has been abused, call that number, because 433-6714 here in Niagara County is there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you listen, these shows are archived. You can see them all the time. You can hear an advocate talk about it here today, what they do for you. But what I know they do for you is they will counsel you a couple times a week, whatever you need, and they'll do it right from your own house. It's free of charge. They'll call you. You don't have to leave. Over the phone. They have Zoom meetings with survivors to get together to make them be survivors, because they got to jump from being a victim into survivorhood and then on to warriorship. And that's the YWCA of Niagara County and all over the country. Even in Canada, too. All over the place. There's a YWCA. There's someone there to help you if you are having those troubles of sexual abuse and all that, and if you're a loved one of someone who's been abused. Don't forget about mental health. 1-800-662-4357. 1-800-662-4357 is a hotline that is there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They can help you definitely get to help in our county, Niagara County. But just don't forget, everyone has bad thoughts. Everyone's had thoughts maybe of hurting themselves and don't really mean it, but that's the thought that goes through your head, right? You get anxieties, you have nightmares, you have all of that stuff. Call that number. There's someone there always waiting to listen to you. You're never alone. You're always with somebody. So don't ever think that no one's there to listen. So this was Wednesday. I thank Kevin for being with me. I thank Wade, Robin, John for making the show run like you do and as great as you do. And that's about it. I'll be back next Wednesday. I'm exhausted. Take care.